coming to an end. We have to unify and watch our flag ascend. So come and another force us. They will stop degrading us. They will not control us. And we will be victorious. So come. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. They will not force us. They will stop degrading us. They will not control us. And we will be victorious. So come. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hush now, don't you cry. Wipe away the teardrop from your eye. You're lying safe in bed. It was all a bad dream spinning in your head. Your mind tricked you to feel the pain of someone close to you leaving the game of life. So here it is, another chance. Wide awake, you face the day. Your dream is over, or has it just begun? There's a place I like to hide, a doorway that I run through in the night. Relax, child, you were there, but only didn't realize, and you were scared. It's a place where you will learn to face your fears, retrace the years, and ride the winds of your mind. Commanding in another world. Suddenly you hear and see this magic new dimension. It's a place where you will learn to face your fears, retrace the years, and ride the winds of your mind. Commanding in another world. Suddenly you hear and see this magic new dimension. I will be watching over you. I am gonna help you see it through. I will protect you in the night. I am smiling next to you in silent lucidity. I will be watching over you. I'm gonna help you see it through. I will protect you in the night. I am smiling next to you inside of lucidity.
Visualize your dream, record it in the present tense, put it into a permanent form. If you persist in your efforts, you can achieve dream control. Dream control.
How are we feeling today, now? Dream control. Dream control. Dream control. If you open your mind for me, you won't rely on open eyes to see. The walls you will night was shaking and pretty loud. My cat is purring, it's scratching my skin. So what is wrong with another sin? The bitch is hungry, she needs to tell. So give her inches and feed her well. More days to come, new places to go. I've got to leave, it's time for a show. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. My body's burning, it starts to shout. Desire is coming, it breaks out loud. Lost is in cages, till storm breaks loose. Just have to make it with someone to choose. The night is calling, I have to go. The wolf is hungry, he runs the show. He's licking his lips, he's ready to win. On the hunt tonight for love at first sting. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. Are you ready, baby? Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. Come on, baby. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. Rock you like a hurricane. It's early morning, the sun comes out. Last night was shaking and pretty loud. My cat is purring, it's scratching my skin. So what is wrong with another sin? The night is calling, I have to go. The wolf is hungry, he runs the show. He's licking his lips, he's ready to win. On the hunt tonight for love at first sting. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. Are you ready, baby? Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. Come on, here I am, rock you like a hurricane. Here I am. She got a smile and it seems to me reminds me of childhood memories where everything was as fresh as the bright blue sky. Now and then when I see her face, she takes me away to that special place. And if I stand too long, I'll probably break down and cry. Whoa, sweet child of mine. Whoa, sweet love of mine. She's got eyes of the bluest skies as if they thought of rain. I'd hate to look into those eyes and see an ounce of pain. Her hair reminds me of a warm, safe place where, as a child, I'd hide and pray for the thunder and the rain to quietly pass me by. Whoa, sweet child of mine. Whoa, 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 sweet love of mine. Oh, yeah. complacent, I cannot be contained. I'm so lost and lonely now. Weaving deceits is so easy for me, 'cause the loathing I've had from the start. Evil disease, all the hatred it breeds, as I'm down on my knees, torn apart. Take me away, set me on fire. There's no other way. See Court Live. Get tickets as low as $130. You might also like Paranoid and Aroused, Core, Down Bad, Taylor Swift, The Alchemy, Taylor Swift. Give me a reason, 'cause I got nothing to gain. So what are we doing now? Feeling complacent, I cannot be contained. I'm so lost and lonely now. Where do I run? Where do I hide? Give me a reason to end my life. Where do I run? Where do I hide? Give me a reason to get out alive. Give me a reason, 'cause I got nothing to gain. So what are we doing now? Feeling complacent, I cannot be contained. I'm so lost and lonely now. Give me a reason, 'cause I got nothing to gain. So what are we doing now? Feeling complacent, I cannot be contained. I'm so lost and lonely now. Give me a reason.
Welcome, my friends, to Xbox Era. If you're new here, let me fill you in. Xbox Era is a platform for the Xbox community with best-in-class forums, a kick-ass Discord server, and of course, XboxEra.com, your destination for the best news, reviews, and features, all focused on your favourite platform, Xbox. It's every Xbox fan's gateway to the best of Xbox Era. Our incredible podcasts listened to in over 50 countries worldwide, our in-depth reviews, our own merch store for the coolest in gaming threads, and of course Day One, where you can track, rate and discuss your favourite games on Xbox Game Pass. We're a small, agile and independent publication, and importantly, we're completely funded by you. If you value having a publication truly focused on your preferred place to play, you can become one of the cool kids by supporting us directly via Patreon. Just head to patreon.com/Xbox Era. You get cool swag and awesome perks, and we get to keep doing what we do. Become a part of the best Xbox community on the internet and help us grow even larger. Thank you for your support. Xbox Era is only made possible by the support of an amazing community, and in particular our legendary and growing army of Patreon supporters. Our executive producers, Top, The Scarecrow 121, Peter B, Not Jack, Mohammed Sherez, Kevin S, Korkenstein, Jordan White, Jordan Andau, Frankie C, Terran H, and Britt. Our amazingly generous grand benefactors who take their support and dedication to Xbox Era to another level. Krat56 and Assassin. And then there's our boss, our leader, our shining light in times of darkness, the one and only Xbox Era CEO, Torn Raptor. You guys are all fucking awesome. If you enjoy the content Xbox Era produce and want more of it, and you're not a patron, consider heading over to patreon.com/Xbox Era, pledge your support, and get cool swag in return. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Xbox Era Headlines with me, Sigma Mechanico, and my good friend Jesse here. The date is January the 8th, 9th. Crikey, we didn't change this from Tuesday.
Oh, I
And
changed
we're
it up top. Yeah.
We're going to talk through all of the latest in gaming news from across the industry. But look, we're Xbox Era, and I can't help it. Xbox just keep making news.
Yep.
So it's going to be a little Xbox flavored episode because the developer direct has been announced. But before I get into that, as a bonus for our wonderful Patreon community, we make audio versions of these hour-long news-focused shows available to them via Patreon in the Patreon app. But if you're on Spotify, you can link your accounts and listen to it there instead. If you would like to support independent, awesome publications like ours, head to patreon.com/Xbox Era. It's fashionable. Everyone's doing a Patreon now. Everybody. So, come with one of the ones that gives you loads of stuff back because that's what's important.
It turns out consolidation bad. And when Ziff Davis just buys everyone, they end up firing a bunch of really good people.
Yeah. Or making it so horrible to do your job that you just want to leave. I mean, I'm just assuming. So, but we don't care about that right now. We're all excited, aren't we? It's Gamer Christmas Part 1. Xbox have today announced the Developer Direct, which is now airing on Thursday, the 23rd of January at 6 p.m. GMT. What is that? Is that 1 p.m.?
1 p.m. my time. So we will not have headlines that day until 1 p.m. And headlines will be co-stream the Dev Direct and then do headlines. So,
yeah.
Since the news of the day will be the Dev Direct.
Yeah, so we'll tweak things a little bit. We'll have a kind of extended show of headlines focused on the Developer Direct. But let's talk about it. Jesse, you covered the news when it released this morning because I was busy doing stuff. What's the dealio?
So they have so much stuff that Avowed's not in it, as one would normally expect from them, where in previous years it was pretty much focused on the things for that year. But this one is a year with too much. So they've got 3 things listed for it directly with one surprise. The 3 things are South of Midnight, Doom the Dark Ages, and third-party release Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which is set for spring. So when I see those, and I see the rumors
are set for spring.
None of them are set for spring except for that one, but the others are rumored for spring.
Yeah,
because South of Midnight's soundtrack's coming out in April. Soundtracks don't normally come out before the game, so you can make the assumption that maybe that means award-winning Mexico 1921 just released for Xbox out of nowhere. Got an email by Pop Agenda. It's a highly reviewed game last year, if I remember correctly. But yeah, so everything. This feels like the Dev Direct, when they have so many games, is going to shift to first half of the year pretty hard. Because I've already seen people saying, oh, does this mean that Fable in Outer Worlds are delayed or something? And I said, nope.
Honestly, Microsoft and their mixed messaging, man. I'm joking, Microsoft, all right? I'm joking. You haven't messed anything up this time. This is just people inferring foolishly.
But
I think it's a safe assumption. This feels like
they still do all the shows.
Statement to the beginning of the year.
Yeah. GTA 6 is a surprise. Yeah, they
can you imagine? They get the marketing for it.
They still do.
I think Xbox fans would be happy with that.
They still do the June showcase, and in the last 2 showcases, they've had a direct after for one specific game. I don't think that's just going to be Call of Duty every year. It'll get kind of boring. That could very well be where you would have like a Fable Direct to really do an in-depth look at Fable and give it its date for the second half of the year. And that's why it wouldn't be in something like this, because this is all before June.
I saw some folks already disappointed because everyone was thinking January, finally going to get my eyes on Fable. But I've always thought that of all of the games that are scheduled for 2025, Fable is the one that you would do, your Starfield, your Black Ops 6, half-hour, 40-minute focused, this is how big this game is segment. And I feel like if any game is going to be the big game from first party Microsoft this year, Fable is the big fall game. So I wasn't expecting to see it in the Dev Direct. I was definitely expecting to see it in June. So for now, we've got Doom: The Dark Ages, which we've seen bits and pieces of. We've got a couple of new segments and landscape type pictures from Nvidia's recent presentation. That's previous Doom and Doom Eternal both released in March of their consecutive years of release. So if it performed previously well at that time, that makes sense.
If they want to really kill us and never give us any time off, just have Avowed, Doom, and South of Midnight back to back in months, and I'll do all of them. Sorry, John.
Yeah, I feel like at that point, like
it's monthly. It's not weekly. If it was weekly, fine.
Give and take.
I am. You're getting Fable. You're getting Replaced. You're getting plenty of things I want to do.
You want to? To be fair, you'd want to do everything if you could.
Yeah.
So
I used to.
Yeah.
But now you're full time. Ooh.
Yeah. Doom in March. Let's presume this is all presumptive. South of Midnight in April, possibly May. But if the soundtrack of this special edition box set thing without the game is releasing in April, it stands to reason the game should be available at that time. We've got Avowed in February.
Yeah, so you'd have Avowed February,
March.
Claire Obscure is spring. That's all they've ever said. So
okay.
It
could be May.
It could be if they're lucky enough, because like the end of this month is going to be smaller titles, but they're third party, so they all just get stuck in like one little thing. We've already know 3 things that are coming out in a week. They had it last year in, was it July, where 5 things came out in 1 week, because they don't have control over when third party games come out. So with their first party, they definitely can set it up to just have 1 a month. They don't control Claire Obscure though, but they might know when it is, which then you can work around, type of thing. So that would be very cool if they were putting in, Claire Obscure one, or they were putting Avowed in February. They've already got 3 other things in January that are smaller, but still, it's January. It's kind of crazy to even have that many things coming out. Then you do Doom, then you do South of Midnight, then you'd have Claire Obscure. Like that'd be a solid first half of the year that they still probably wouldn't get much credit for.
I don't know, man. Like I feel. This is the year of Xbox. We declared it so. Like
they would have to really stumble hard to not have a good year. Like there's seemingly little to no chance that they don't have a very good year.
And this is on the 23rd. It's interesting because I only say that because I saw that when Destin Ligari announced his independence from IGN. Congratulations, Destin. We'd love to have you on the Xbox Era podcast at some point soon to share everything that you're doing and to spread the word. He said he was interviewing Mr. Phil Spencer on the 24th, which is nice because it's the day after the Developer Direct. So we should get some cool tidbits from Phil, which is always nice to hear from the head honcho.
We talked to Phil once.
Yeah, we're not allowed to ever again. I'm afraid it's banned. Someone wrote about Starfield or something. So, I think this is just I love that Microsoft does this or that Xbox does this because it's a really good gearing up to get stuck into the year. It makes the beginning of the year feel impactful. And I've often wondered, Microsoft in particular has always been guilty of like loading the end of the year with games and ignoring the first 6 months. And I am more than happy for them to not do that this year because there's gaming's an all year round activity.
And I don't believe this. I'm happy they're doing it.
Staying outside. Bullshit.
There's so many games already early this year. I don't mind if they spread it out a little, please. Yeah. There's so much. I've got my first reviews done and in the can for later this month. I'm now working on another one. We should have everything coming to Game Pass day 1 this month covered. I did the preview for Sniper Elite Resistance, so I'm really hoping I'm on the list for that.
If I say yes to that thing.
Yeah, so there's a thing for you, Eternal Strands for me, Citizen Sleeper 2 for Ursel, and then Ursel's also got Kingdom Come 2, because they literally said those have already been sent out. So we should be doing a Kingdom Come one. That's not Game Pass, but I'm just thinking of this, the beginning of this
It's
freaking year,
not
man.
Game Pass, but it is. You can
Cloud.
play it.
Mm.
You can play it if you own it on Xbox Cloud.
Yeah, and that I think that's just going to end up being everything because no one's going to want to say no to that because it's literally just, hey, you can pay full price if you have this subscription, because that is the GeForce Now thing, which is like before it was no one was getting any money, but Microsoft has this set up with their third parties already, and that's why I think third parties are going to be super peachy keen to get in there, and it's just up to Microsoft to get the amount of storage they need for all that.
Yeah. Now I was looking in the chit chat. Hello to everybody. Lovely to see so many green names in there as well. Much love to you all. Please hit that like button while you're here. Appreciate you. Bash video editor, guys, it's so hard to not see Fable for 6 more months. I know. I feel you.
We are saved by
It's
there being
okay.
so much other stuff. So if it was like, oh, there's like nothing I'm really looking forward to, and now I've got to wait until June, it would hurt a lot more. But there's like 30 things I want to play between now and June already, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. SJ says Doom 2016 was May, but I am right that Eternal came out in March. So okay. Yeah. Spring.
First
for
half of the
Doom,
year is generally what they do.
though.
Yeah.
And SJ again, are we thinking that they'll only show 4 games this time instead of 5 like the first 2 shows? Interestingly, Mr. Jason Ronald, he did tweet, and I will read it for the sake of being accurate. He did say, can't wait to share a deeper dive into 4 of my most anticipated titles.
Well, maybe he
coming
doesn't
out
care
this
about the
year.
5th at all.
Yeah, maybe he thinks the 5th sucks. That could be, but I'm inclined to say that there's just 4.
Yeah, when the surprise is right in the thumbnail, it feels likely that it's just 4.
Yeah, like they're trying to set expectations in advance. Now, when we talk about the surprise, there's been a lot of rumor and scuttlebutt and discussion around this reported Oblivion remake in Unreal Engine, at least graphically remade in Unreal Engine. But they've been very clear when they announced this that it is a brand new game in a surprise location. Am I getting that right?
It definitely doesn't read like something that we've heard of before or something that's been announced before. But that or it's something that's a remake.
Yeah, visit a surprise location to see another studio's brand new game. This does not smell like an Oblivion remake to moi.
And after everyone jumped on saying, hey, Oblivion remake might be at the show, now they're all singing different tunes saying nope. So
James Thomas, member for 2 months. Thank you for your support, my man. Says, I think with so much content, they'll have 5 or more games this year. I think they'll have more than 5. I think that this will probably be, what was the year where they published more than anybody else ever? And they won an award from Metacritic for Best Publisher of the Year.
2021? I think it was 21.
Yeah.
Even though they have no games and haven't for a decade.
Yeah. I think they published 8 things. But if you think about it in terms of what they could be releasing this year, Doom, South of Midnight, Fable. Come on, what's the 4th that my brain's backfired on me?
This year?
Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah, Outer Worlds 2.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But then
Call of
there
Duty.
are the other potentials. Call of Duty, that's 5.
That's not a potential.
Right?
That is a guarantee.
But then we've also got the potential of a new Forza Horizon. We've got this new surprise. If it's a surprise, then it's coming out this year, is why they're talking about it. And that's if it's a first party published game, obviously.
Yeah, Double Fine will be 4 years since their last thing.
I mean, we're just eating, folks. We're just eating delicious.
And yet it's so negative all the time out there.
Well,
every time
Game Pass is killing 80% of the.
Yeah, you make way less money. I will say, I know a lot of people get really mad at Chris String, but that one did frustrate me just because he was doing the thing on Install Base where he's doing a Q&A, and he's like, yeah, you can expect to lose up to 80% of your premium sales if you're in Game Pass, and that's it. Not like but Microsoft gives you a bunch of money, so people are just like, oh, all these games are losing money. It's like, well, no, if they go back and they do it again, then they're obviously not losing money. And also, you're guesstimating 80% because you can't actually know what something would do if it wasn't in. You're estimating. You're trying to figure it out. It's not a hard fact figure that you can actually know.
Yeah. So I can see James Thomas did follow up saying, "Hey, I actually meant just 5 games at the Dev Direct. I sent my message too early, lol." It's okay. We all make mistakes.
If you were to go through everything they have announced, the next year is the exact same. Yeah, next year would be the exact same. Like, still just a ton of shit. And then you can go a little beyond that into like 2027, and then you like Blade as a possibility and stuff. Like, there's just, and they're going to keep announcing more and more. It's
good times. It's good times to be into your video games.
Yeah, and it seems to be better at Microsoft, where the rumor from Tom Warren and others is that less than 1% of their 228,000 employees would be impacted with it being a focus on performance this time and not just reducing headcount for costs.
That's
layoffs.
So basically standard
it's the time of year they normally do it. But it's not the 8, 9, 10,000 people just cut because we want to make more on our books type of stuff. So
but
I am excited. I can't wait to.
I'm excited.
I'm gonna make the thumbnail and schedule that soon because it's exciting and I just want to. But or maybe I'll ask Pre-Drag for like a special one because it is it's a co-stream. Yeah, so otherwise it's gonna get cut off a lot. But yeah,
can you make it like Xbox Era headline special report? You know, like I don't know.
DM him now. He was actually on Discord earlier. That very busy boy.
He's a
excuse me.
190 folks watching right now.
Yeah, people are excited about this. This is the news of the day. Like, what do you think that third thing could be, John? Neither of us are insiders that would really know. We know one pretend guy who's going to think he knows and get it wrong and then say, "Oh, things change." But Nick's not here to defend himself.
I think that it is going to be something from a first-party team. It's not going to. I don't think it's going to be a third-party surprise like Visions of Mana, or indeed like Clair Obscur. I think this is going to be a first-party game. But I don't know. I honestly, there is so much that it could be. You know, you could have a surprise Clockwork Revolution. You could have. I mean, when did Wasteland 3 finish up, Dev? When did that come out? 2020? 2019?
It was the end of 2020. It was like the first main thing I did.
It's been a while. I don't know how big that game's, but that's, you know.
I mean, just I'm curious. Like, you've got so many RPGs. Would they want to spread it out if they can? Yeah, because like you've got Fable already coming out later in the year. How much of an RPG is that? Because it's not going to be the Clockwork Revolution type of RPG. It never like that's a full-on level, make your own character, level them, number-based, classical computer RPG, but from first person. Whereas Fable is the more actiony RPG, but they are still RPGs in general. You've got Clair Obscur, you've got friggin' Outer Worlds 2, which is that Bethesda RPG. So
I am reading the chat, by the way. I'm reading some of these suggestions. Wu-Tang Clan game, is that still a thing? From Navi.
No idea.
Don't know. In all honesty, don't know. Could be. I mean, this is the downside of stuff leaking. It provides lots of fun conjecture, but it muddies the waters somewhat. And let's be honest, right now, because we don't know, it is a lovely thing to be surprised. Hi-Fi Rush, being surprised by. I want you to think back to that developer direct when they were like,
I remember that incredibly long day.
Oh, and it's out now, and we were like, what? And then everybody was happy. Right?
And then I didn't go to bed until 6 a.m. the next morning.
You worked your socks off, yeah. But I love the idea of being surprised. So I'm glad I don't know. Now, will I know before 2 weeks is up? This is the industry.
Hi-Fi had leaked as a patent, or as a trademark. We just had a name. We had no idea what it is otherwise. We have a lot of names. Also, whatever it is would probably be first half of the year. So
Game on Jesse says Aaron Greenberg has said it's an unannounced game.
Yeah, that's what the way they worded it. It definitely sounded like that. Like this is brand new, as in not something you know already.
Yeah, so if it's an unannounced game, I mean, good luck guessing. You could guess a developer who's made it. So Double Fine is a fine guess to make here.
I don't think
They
they're
haven't
far
made
enough
something in a
along
while.
with People Can Fly for that Project Maverick game. That was pretty early. So
But it means Contraband, Clockwork Revolution. They're all out.
mhm.
Technically, Forza Horizon 6 would be a brand new unannounced game. Technically, even though it's part of an established series.
And they're always in the end of the year.
The Black John asked Towerborn, but like, hey, well, Killer Instinct 2, technically that's not an announced game. Gears Collection, now that doesn't count as brand new, so I'm gonna Gears E-Day, nope, that's been announced. We've got Project Mara, that's been announced. Oblivion remake, that's not a surprise. Well, it's not brand new, at least.
Yeah.
ZeniMax Online's new project could be.
I was gonna say, I'm curious if they do third party or like multiplat, because ZeniMax's game would be multiplat, but Doom's already multiplat, and Clair Obscure is multiplat, and Visions of Mana was multiplat, so I don't think they care too much about that.
No, they just care about good games.
Yeah, and good games on Game Pass. Like that's their
their
mantra.
jam.
It is always interesting when I just see other communities and stuff talk about Xbox, and they're like, who would even want an Xbox with PC? It's like, who wouldn't? Why wouldn't you want that if it's literally a home console that can also play everything you want on PC? I mean, it's a very weird the way perception has shifted so insanely just because of console sales. When the actual metrics that all the companies care about now are how many players are on their system and how much are they spending, which is the best it's ever been for everyone. Like every console is doing well, every platform is doing really well.
In terms of money made.
Yeah,
they're
focus
making on the sales differences.
Yeah, it's like everyone's making what they want to make money-wise, but they're changing things up because they want to make more money-wise. Like that's always the main thing. More. But people will focus, they're doing bad. And it's like, no, they're making more money than friggin' God. They're doing fine. You don't have to worry about their growth. You can, if you're worried about them being around, they're going to be around. They're making a ton of money. Like they're not going anywhere.
Paul being Minecraft 2. Sorry, that's been announced by Notch last week. Rips Mortar, IO's game. Do you mean IOI? Weren't they rumored to be working on a project?
Dragon?
I forget. Something to do with dragons. Dragoon? I don't know. It's just reminded me of that awesome little. I will talk about it after the show. It's just reminded me of a little discussion we had at the end of the podcast last week about that thing with the license thing.
I don't remember, but I'm just going.
But look, we don't know. It's nice to be surprised. Let's hope that no one ruins that surprise within the next 2 weeks.
They will.
I hope not, man. I really do.
Well, the next 2 weeks should also be dominated by, at some point, then one of our later news topics of the Switch 2. You would have to think. They can't be that far off talking about it. And so that might push back things because it's kind of like that GTA effect where people are just going to try and move away from there being like the big news is the Switch and everyone's just going crazy about that. So you wait to do your spoily stuff because no one's going to cover it and you're only trying to get coverage out of it.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see. We will see. But yeah, like, I'd love to keep talking about the Developer Direct, but there's not much more to say.
Yeah.
You can expect deep dives on Doom the Dark Ages, South of Midnight, Clair Obscure, Expedition 33, and a surprise in 2 weeks. And we'll be covering it right here on Xbox Era with a special edition of headlines, which will air a little bit later in the day so we can live stream and react to the event with you guys in the chat.
Yeah, so we normally start at 10 a.m. Eastern US. It'll be 3 hours later at 1 p.m. And we'll go live like 10 minutes before, shoot the shit a bit, do a full co-stream where, you should be able to hear everything they say. We're not going to just constantly talk over them. And then we'll do our regular headline show where we'll break down everything we saw along with the bigger news stories of that last few days.
Yeah. And again, like I'm just reiterating for people that are just joining the chat and perhaps catching up, they said a new location, brand new studios game. not a brand new studio, but a brand new game from a studio. So it's not something we've seen. It's not something that's been announced, and it's brand new. So remakes, collections, put those out of your mind, I think. All right.
We'll
For
see.
people hoping for Gears or Oblivion. And it's not been announced, according to Aaron Greenberg. Could be anything. We don't know. Right. And I love that we don't know for a change. That feels really good. Fingers crossed the ship stays leaky proof and everyone can enjoy the surprise collectively together in 2 weeks' time. But yeah, Dev Direct starting January off with a bang, as always.
Yep. And Nick had already made a thumbnail for the podcast, but we waited on scheduling it all because this was rumored heavily by Ecstasis and others. So I'll get that up later.
Next up, a serious face topic. Let's get serious. The great team at People Make Games, which is a YouTube channel headed by Chris Pratt.
Not Chris Pratt.
Not Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt. They have released a video that I sat and watched for 50 minutes yesterday. Honestly, it was my jaw on the floor at what I was kind of hearing. This deep dives into something they previously covered 4 years ago. But the title is 100 Slaps, the breaking news the games industry ignored in 2024. The nutshell of the story is that it's touching upon how Western studios that we love and the games that we love to play, sell their crunch, their long hours, their bad work conditions to overseas non-Western development studios so that they look great. And these studios that are doing this crunch are treating people in the worst sorts of ways imaginable.
It's like working at a Nike office in America, and as long as you're not seeing the supposed sweatshops that they have all across the world, you're like, hey, this is a great place to work.
Video game sweatshops, like, it is honestly, it was horrific. They had an interview with a young lady that was effectively abused by the owners of this particular video game company to the point where she was like forced to send videos of her hitting herself to prove that she had punished herself for crazy stuff like not sending an email or leaving stuff outside of the door instead of hanging it on the, like, absolutely bonkers stuff that you or I or anybody shouldn't and wouldn't stand for. But because it doesn't happen where we live or in the studios that we know in the news, it doesn't get the coverage that it deserves. And I thought that it was an incredible piece. I would wholeheartedly recommend you go and watch it. I will put a link to the video in the chat right now. You can read my brief overview on xboxzero.com. But it is a hard-hitting piece, and I have to warn you, if you get triggered by some of the stories and stuff that I've mentioned, it's not pleasant watching either. But I think it's important to watch it. So big shout out to the folks at People Make Games for covering this story. I don't know what else is there to say. It's horrific.
Yeah,
it is
sucks.
Absolutely horrific. And to all of the studios that work for these big AAA companies like Microsoft, like Sony, like Ubisoft, Activision, all of them, it is their duty of care to make sure that this sort of stuff doesn't happen with the people that they choose to partner with. And I hope that there is far more scrutiny on this sort of thing, so that it doesn't happen to people in the future, because it is appalling. I could not believe what I was watching. Go give it a watch. There you go. That's serious face stuff, but it is important to call it out. Next up, we already mentioned Doom: The Dark Ages earlier in the show because it's part of the Developer Direct in 2 weeks. But both that game and Avowed are launching into GeForce Now. as
Mhm.
part of that subscription. So that's good, right?
Yeah,
So
if you want a double subscription, so you can have a super strong PC, or if you want to buy the game, like if you're just going to buy it, because I think GeForce Now for like the good tier is in the $20 region, 24. But you get a super powerful PC in the cloud, and then I think it has most first party Game Pass stuff in it. So if you also have Game Pass Ultimate, you then can just play it through GeForce Now, or if you own the games through
which
Steam or
is cool.
Microsoft. Yeah, so it's just extra ways for people that maybe you've got the money, but you don't want to buy a PC, but you want to play on PC, and so you get this.
Hmm.
More options never hurts.
But what about my box that I place so much value in?
Not going anywhere.
Oh, well, damn, what can I be angry about? I know. Are you a Citizen Sleeper fan?
Never played it.
I haven't either. But if you are a Citizen Sleeper fan, you can be happy that Citizen Sleeper 2 is coming very, very soon. But sadly, Citizen Sleeper creator Gareth Damian Martin has said that their warm hearted series of sci fi video games will end with Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector, which releases on the 31st of January. This is via Robert Purchase over at Eurogamer. Effectively, they want to create a tabletop role playing version of the game and hand over future adventures in the series to tabletop RPG.
Yeah, I
gamers
guess
that
it's a game
wanna play.
heavily inspired by tabletop games, and so now it's becoming one. Seems to make sense.
Yeah, I like that. That feels nice that they can give it off to people and they can make their own campaigns effectively with the series. But looks like this will be the last Citizen Sleeper 2 video game.
Yep, and it is hitting the hitting Game Pass at the end of the month. They're doing a lot of leaf blower.
People doing the leaf blowing. But yeah, 31st of January, if you're looking forward to Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector, that's when it comes out. Is that one Game Pass? It's not, is it?
Yes,
Oh,
you dumbass.
look at that.
I literally
It's
talked
weird
about it
because I'm
earlier.
reading this Eurogamer.
Oh, and they don't
piece.
mention it. Yeah, of course they don't.
Why does no one mention that it's coming to?
They never do.
Like, it's really weird.
Because they get review codes and they don't care.
Oh yeah, that's true. They're not on the side of the consumers, man. Next up in news, I've heard that the Switch 2 is coming soon.
I know.
And despite the fact that Nintendo haven't actually spoken about it yet, I feel like we suddenly know so much. We know what the Joy-Cons look like, what the new cases will look like, that there'll be screen protectors, that apparently now it has support for the super fast micro SD cards.
Yeah,
as
micro
well.
SD Express.
Yeah. There's a 3D render available, and this is via Jordan Miller over VGC. Reliable Tech Leaker posts a 360-degree render of Nintendo's new console. It looks like a big Switch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of unexcited by this. And I did see Kotaku did a whole, I'm kind of unexcited by the Switch too. I get where they're coming from. Whoever wrote that.
Yeah. Well, also, I'm unexcited because it sounds like the tech's going to be even older at launch than the Switch one was. If it is the 8-nanometer Samsung process, it's 7-year-old tech, as where the Switch launched with 3-year-old tech. It's better. It's obviously much better 7-year-old tech, but like, especially because the rumor on this thing is like $430 instead of $300 that the Switch was at launch. So like, more expensive. I don't know. It does nothing for me. I couldn't give two shits about Metroid Prime. I tried remastered and I was like, this is fine. I'm sure Metroid Prime 4 is going to get like a 98 or 96 to 98 on OpenCritic. It's pretty much a guarantee. But
yeah,
I would have to see something really exciting to want to buy one, which is why I'm going to ask their PR for one for free.
It would be a case of if there was a new Smash Brothers that would get me to pick one up. I think.
Yeah, I've tried Smash Brothers. I can't stand it. It's not for me.
It's a game to play with people in the room. Unless you got 4 or 5 people sitting around the TV screaming at each other, then maybe it's not so much fun.
I don't want anyone screaming at me. What do I do? Beat him in a
Maybe you
video
played
game?
as
Probably.
maybe you played as Solid Snake and you were a little weasel in Super Smash, and we were like, get him out of that corner. But yeah, so like, there's been a ton of leaks now. At this point, it's like, for God's sake, Nintendo,
No,
just
they
announce
they
the
do what
damn
they do,
thing.
man. They don't pivot. Like Sony will pivot very fast. Microsoft will pivot slow. And then Nintendo does not pivot at all when it comes to changing up like news cycles.
They've got their date, whatever date that is. I read March. I'm like, you guys gonna let this drag on for another 2 months?
Well, they normally announce it sooner so that they can do the ramp up. So like they would announce it and then have a couple months of heavy marketing and build up.
We'll see. Either way, the Switch 2 is likely to dominate the news cycle for the first half of the year. I saw an analyst predicted that the Switch 2 would sell 4.25 million consoles in 2025.
Yeah, it was Matt Piscatella, 4.35 million in the US. So
Oh, okay, in the US.
yeah, he does US.
That's a better. I was going to say, because it doesn't sound like much if that's just the US, if that's the world, but just the
No.
US makes more sense.
Japan will probably match that itself.
But yeah, Switch 2, it's coming. We'll find out how good or bad or middle of the road it is in due course, I would imagine. Next up in news, we have the next Like a Dragon game, which is Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Sorry, I forgot. In Hawaii, only these guys could do this. They're doing a whole direct on this, which is coming today at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Central.
Yes, about an hour and a half.
Oh, okay. There you go. It's a deep dive into Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii with gameplay galore, no story spoilers. You can watch it on YouTube via the Sega West channel or on Twitch via the Sega channel. And it can be restreamed and will be streamed in English, French, Italian, German, Spanish, Brazilian, Portuguese, subtitles, plus narration in English, French, and German available on YouTube.
They're really good about that stuff. They are one of the most prodigious developers out there. RGG. Yeah. The amount of stuff they've made, the amount of stuff why do they have a tiger with them? They have a little tiger cub.
Why not? It's
I guess
a pirate,
and they got like this friggin' biker white guy. In their games are really cool. You need a lot of time. I really liked Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, but I was like 15 hours in and it was just getting ramped up. And that game's like 60, 80 hours. So they are really big. They're really good. They're quite fun. But you need a lot of time. And it's going to be very tough, I think, for a lot of people to have that time anytime soon because there's so much to play.
Yeah.
Mean Looking Man's Buddy. That's the name of this character.
I mean, I've got no interest in the series, but I admire it from afar.
This one is also a beat 'em up. It's not the turn based like the games that start Ichiban are Dragon Quest inspired turn based, and the Majima and Kiryu games are beat 'em ups. So
it looks fun.
Yep, they're really funny too. Like their writing is fantastic, and they're just weird, over the top, crazy horse shit. It's a lot.
Oh my god!
They're also really heartfelt, and they're extremely woke. So, if you're against that for some weird reason, stay away. These games are quite progressive in their ideals.
How dare they?
I know.
Be okay for everybody to play. Next up in news, this is a big news. This broke just as I think we were. I don't know if we were talking on the show last time or it happened during the podcast, or was it last night when we were chatting? I can't remember. Jason Schreier, Bloomberg, all of the ex-Annapurna video game staff to absorb the former Take-Two indie label Private Division and take over all of their portfolio.
Yep.
Some of Private Division's remaining employees with Take-Two will be laid off as the new company takes over. But yeah, Annapurna, which earlier in the year, last year, I should say, they all suddenly resigned. There was a big
they were trying to go independent, and the owner essentially said no after having essentially said yes, I think was their side of the story. Like they felt the negotiations weren't going anywhere, so the whole team quit, which sucked because Annapurna Interactive was amazing.
Yeah, they've really
They were
sent me
so
great
good at picking
reviews.
games.
Yeah, their curation was awesome. But the new company, which doesn't yet have a name, will inherit the games and franchises of Private Division. So that would include like,
The only one left that I really know of is No Rest for the Wicked.
yeah,
That's
there
like being
is.
actively developed because a lot of other stuff just lost its publishing.
That's
So,
interesting.
but
Actually.
they would get the IP and everything they owned, but the only thing actively being developed that I remember, so there might have been other stuff that wasn't announced that they were still had. That's
Tales of the Shire
Mm.
is in March, but now that people are expecting it to be published by the new company,
Mhm.
so there's another one. Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad that this has happened. I feel bad for the people that had to stay
I
at
wonder
Private Division and now might
what
lose their
happened to Private
jobs.
Division? Why did they shut it down just to redo it? It's so weird. It's one of those things we'll never know. Like we won't know why. Why did they essentially shut down Private Division to then just redo it with a different company?
But yeah, but Take Two don't own this.
They
I
don't, but
think
they're still
they
going to
are.
own all those games and everything. I guess they're not
I
paying
know,
everyone
but
actively.
I don't think they're owning the games either.
No.
They're taking over the publishing of those games. So this new
Hmm.
company will now be the publisher. They're going to be doing the
Hmm.
funding and all of that jazz. So effectively,
How do they have that
Take
money?
Two via Private Division were funding, and now they're just like, yeah, take it all, we're out.
I
And
guess.
they're closed Private Division down, I guess. They were obviously one of the original publishers of The Outer Worlds, which sold 5 million copies. But it definitely, they didn't do as good a job at curating
Oh, that's right.
and getting
I,
games out there.
I forgot. They said they sold Private Division last year. They just never said to who. So
Yeah.
now we know.
Now we know.
That was it. That was the piece I was forgetting.
Interesting stuff.
I don't think we would ever see a Starfield PS5 announcement at an Xbox show. That would just be a blog post or something.
That would
Or
be
a
just
state of play.
Yeah, state of play. They would announce it. It wouldn't be Microsoft announcing it on their behalf, if you know what I mean. What else? Rocksteady, developers of Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, have been hit by some end of year layoffs.
This is the sad part of the show.
Yeah, I don't think this is overly surprising considering, but they quietly suffered another round of layoffs just before the end of 2024. This is via Tom Phillips, editor-in-chief over at Eurogamer. Half a dozen staff impacted by the redundancies have spoken to Eurogamer to confirm the job losses under condition of anonymity to protect their careers. Roles impacted included members of Rocksteady's programming and artist team, as well as QA staff. Yeah, that's what happens when you release a live service game and it just doesn't pan out.
Yeah, and it sucks because the base campaign, much like I've talked about with Marvel's Avengers, the base campaign of Suicide Squad is really fun. But then the live service aspect just felt like we will constantly recycle the few mission types we have over and over again to get you better gear, which just didn't hold up. Like it was fine before the first season, but then when the seasons came out and the first thing I did for the initial 3 hours was the exact same missions I had already played 100 times, I was like, oh, there's one new fight and it's a different version of the final fight of the game. Like, and that's it. It's not even like it's really hard to make really good new content, but that is the expectation on live service. That's why you have entire publishers completely dedicated to it. The only reason that Call of Duty and Fortnite can keep going is because they just throw endless money at it. And so starting that up, it's really hard. And you see it every time, even with sequels. Diablo 4 didn't bring over most of what Diablo 3 had and is slowly adding in. Path of Exile 2 is even struggling a bit to get stuff back in and forth and figure it all out. That's where they're doing early access. And it's really, really hard, especially when you're tied to IP, that people will have certain expectations of where you're going to go and what you can do. And if you kill the Justice League, which you didn't actually do in this game, turns out you killed their clones. So But we never get to find that out because the game didn't get through all of its content, which is when you were going to find out, oh no, these have been clones that Brainiac made, and then you get to actually play as the Justice League. It would have been really cool, but we never got there.
No, sadly. Yeah, it's a bummer. But
I got breaking news for you as a Brit. Future Lab and Square Enix Collective announce coming to PowerWash Simulator, Wallace and Grommitt.
That's awesome.
They have been incredibly good with their collabs on this game.
Yeah.
Hold on, I can get the trailer up and we can see it. I've never watched a second of Wallace and Gromit, but I've heard of it.
You should watch it, man. Like, it's genuinely solid, like, gags, like good gags.
I'm gonna put this on the Discord because people will be happy because they really like PowerWash Simulator. So you just get a little thing there. Wallace and Gromit coming to PowerWash Simulator, which is it still in Game Pass? Was it ever in Game Pass? I can't remember. I know I reviewed it, so I own it, so I don't boop boop. But there. Enjoy, you sickos. But yeah, so PowerWash Simulator is just one of those fun zen, sit back and relax.
I love it.
Type of games. I'm going to forward this to contacts so someone can do a news story.
There's some fun stuff. Hooray! Oh, it's got the little train and
Their collaborations are really good. They know what they're doing. I really like the Back to the Future one. You just cleaning the clock tower and stuff.
All right. More sad news. Jar of Sparks. If you're like, what? Who? Jar of Sparks pauses operations as leaders of that particular development company search for a new publishing partner. This was founded back in 2022 by founder Jerry Hook. Jerry Hook worked on Halo Infinite with 343. I actually met him. Nice chap. Really cool dude. They were founded as a NetEase subsidiary. This is via Justin Carter over at GameDeveloper.com. And Hook said that they intended to make a new generation of narrative-driven action games. But yeah, this is one of the first devs to now cease and cut staff in 2025. They ended up hiring a lot of folks from Ubisoft, from Riot, but now they have paused everything because there's no more funding and they need to search for a new publisher, which sucks.
It's happened a bunch with I think NetEase.
Yeah. Jerry Hook said that the team strived to create something truly new and exciting for the industry. We couldn't be prouder of the groundwork we've laid together. From the day we formed to this very moment, the team has accomplished remarkable feats, proving that small, focused, and dedicated group can achieve great results. We thank every one of them for their courage, skill, and friendship. We look forward to updating you all with our next step in the journey. Curious how that's going to shake up.
Yeah.
Will that just be the end of Jar of Sparks?
I hope not.
Like, we're hearing out there that getting a publishing deal is really hard lately. The money is not there. People are being very, very risk averse, very, very picky. You've got to have something super special. So we'll see. We'll find out.
You've got to have a Console Wars, the card game level of just home run that everyone is for sure going to want to do.
Everyone's so hyped for that game.
We're knocking people off waiting for our 10 billion.
I'm just gonna walk into Netflix and like find the executive owner of Netflix that's responsible for publishing. And I'll just get the box and I'll just be like that, and he'll be like, "Oh, what was that awesomeness?" And then that's it. We'll sign the deal and we're done. Then we'll have to learn how to make a game. Next up, and this one is going to hurt some people. This one is going to reach into the nostalgia-filled heart of your inner child and crush its dreams, because Transformers Reactivate, being developed by Splash Damage, has been cancelled as developers have scaled down to refocus on other projects. There is gameplay out there on Twitter.
There's gameplay on YouTube. I'm playing it.
And YouTube.
It was early. Cool. They didn't have all the textures and stuff done, but it's just showing you what it looks like in Unreal and what they're going for. Actually
jumping into a buggy.
Yeah, jumping between, then you turn into your robot in disguise fellow, and yeah. Those things people are like, oh, this looks like shit. This doesn't look good at all. It's like it's a freaking tech demo to give you an idea what the game's like as they're building it. It's not the game.
This is what games look like.
Yes.
Sometimes 6 months before launch.
Mhm.
You know, depending upon what build you're launching in. You know, it's people really do need to kind of get to grips with what games.
I guess there
development
needs
is
to be
like.
a long process of game developers really breaking down the game development process because we're just used to it with movies.
Yeah.
And it still doesn't work. Like people saw the Superman suit and they're like, it looks like shit. And it's like, yeah, because it hasn't been touched up in post yet. Like it's not going to look the way you're used to in movies with color grading and special effects and stuff. But
Oh dear.
Hmm.
But yes, it does. I think it looks great.
it looked really cool. It was a neat looking thing. It was like a co-op game. I think was a focus on it, which is the right way to go with most licensed things. Is make them things that people are going to want to play with their friends. It's just the easiest way to try it. Like your game can just be okay, but if it's co-op, you get a little bump every time because you can just play it with your friends. That makes it more fun.
Playing with friends can elevate a mediocre game into a fun game,
Mhm.
like straight away.
That was a big thing for Suicide Squad. Being able to go through that whole thing in co-op was fun when I would join people. Like it made a good time a lot better. So
yeah, it's such a shame.
I know.
But yeah, that is pretty much all the news.
Yeah, and everyone's still here. We got a few more minutes if we just want to reiterate for people who have joined late because we have more people than ever right now. The Xbox Developer Direct announced coming the 23rd. Our plan, at least John and myself, because I don't have anyone else set up for a co-stream, but I do have co-stream set up in headlines for two of us. We'll start our stream 10 minutes before the direct starts or so, and just talk a little bit. Go do a full watch along. Won't talk a ton because obviously we're there to then talk about it afterwards. So it'll be a live react
news as well.
Yeah, live react as we write up some news stories about stuff, and hopefully, I don't know. For me, I definitely do hope that the whatever the surprise is stays a surprise. That would be fun.
Yeah,
it's only a couple weeks, so like if it's not like months away, and you're like, ooh, wonder what it could be. It's a couple weeks. You don't know.
I don't want it to be ruined.
It will be.
You know, be surprised.
I will. You and I might know, but I will definitely mute Nick if he tries to say it, because then Microsoft would be very mad at us.
Yes, they would.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Nick would say.
And look, if there's legitimate news to cover for anything Microsoft that is negative, they don't mind that. But if you just spoil their shit for the sake of spoiling it when it's really close, I wouldn't blame them for being annoyed.
Yeah, my precious internet clout.
Yeah, and also it's like, yeah, I don't worry about a giant corporation's PR machine, but the actual people there that are working on and making this stuff. You can like the people and care about them. But also as a press outlet, if something hit us that was news that is super negative about Xbox, then John would write about it and it would cost us Phil from ever being on the channel again. Now he goes to Destin.
I'm not here to protect Microsoft's reputation.
Oh, no, their reputation sucks as a corporation. Xbox's is okay. And it's funny because Microsoft is in that position of like they are one of the best companies to work at if you're in there wise, but then they fired a ton of people, so that probably took a nosedive, that ranking. I'm excited. I was really hoping that would get announced today because otherwise the very sad news was all we were going to have to talk about. So it's nice to have something positive to start the show with, at the very least. Yeah. And I'm sure we'll talk about this a lot more on Saturday.
Yeah. And look, I'm all for hearing about theories about what this surprise game would be. So if you've got one, head over to our forums, forum.xboxera.com, and you can join the thread. There's a discussion thread with the news story linked to it. Mm-hmm. The way our website works is if we've posted a story and we've shared it into our forums, the forums becomes the comments section. So there's a great community interaction going around.
It doesn't do that anymore.
It does. It depends on how you set it up, but it does do it. And if you really want to get involved in the conversation, head to our Discord, discord.gg/XboxEra.
I see, like it's broken on everything I do. It's not on this one I did today, and I just chose publish the discourse, and it's not there. It's just a regular comment section below the article. It's been broken for me for a long time.
I will have a look at it for you.
Yeah.
Thank you for alerting me to this behavior.
I've known about it for months. I should have let you know earlier. Sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. But yeah, like, end of the day, folks, video games are cool. It's a brand new year. There's tons coming out. Absolutely shit tons of great video games. Literally from this month for the rest of the year, great games all year long. There's nothing to be sad about. Oh, but my box is selling. Yes, it's not your box. Who gives a shit? Play video games. Have fun. We'll see you on Saturday for the mainline Xbox Zero podcast with
we'll see you tomorrow
our good
night.
friend Special Nicks. Yes, yeah, patrons, the latest episode of Sick and Nick's Flicks, which is Nick and I and Jesse discussing movies. This week, I think we're discussing Heretic and
Gladiator 2. Yep.
Patron exclusive. If you're a member of the Patreon, patreon.com.
$6 and above tier gets all the video content.
Come and hang out. And I think we might have another episode of Retro Hangouts coming soon.
Yep,
right?
Is it going to go up probably in half an hour or so? It's finally, I think it has finally finished processing. I uploaded it yesterday. It was still processing today. Hey, it is done. If just
it is done.
Yay.
Patreon fans can look forward to me having a look back at the past as I dive into Fable Anniversary, which is the remake of the very first Fable game. With that, we will let you carry on with your days. Wishing everybody having a lovely end of the week. It's Friday tomorrow, so be happy about it. Until next time, we'll see you on Saturday for the main live show. Be good. Ciao for now.
Paranoia is in bloom. The PR transmissions will resume. They'll try to push drugs that keep us all down, and hope that we will never see the truth around. So another promise, another seed, another package lie to keep us trapped in greed. And all the green bells wrapped around our minds, an endless red tape to keep the truth confined. So come on, another force us. They will stop degrading us. They will not control us, and we will be victorious. So come on, interchanging mind control. Come let the revolution take its toll. If you could flick a switch and open your third eye, you'd see that we should never be afraid to die. So come on, rise up and take the power back. It's time the fat cats had a heart attack. You know that their time's coming to an end. We have to unify and watch our flag ascend. So come on, another force us. They will stop degrading us. They will not control us, and we will be victorious. So come, hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, hey, hey. They will not force us. They will stop degrading us. They will not